in fact, a way to represent the unsustainable way that we are producing and consuming goods. So what can we do? So this is the questions that I think we are going to answer right now with you, actually. And there is, I'm going to give some hints as well, and I believe that you also have a lot to contribute with. So obviously we need innovation. We need sustainable innovation that transforms the way that we live and consume, that transforms our lifestyles. And the first thing that we can do is obviously ask ourselves, do you really need to get one more pair of jeans? Do you really need to change your mobile phone, right? This is a kind of program that has been taken by different supermarkets to tackle food waste. We are actually wasting 1/3 of the global food that we are producing, which can actually feed 2 times all the people who are suffering from hunger today. So to think what are your requirements. An apple is an apple, is as nutritious as any other apple, round, beautiful apple. So let's not throw waste. Let's be careful, mindful about it. Let's not wasteful. The circular economy. We were discussing how long the supply chains are and how linear they are. So this is initiatives that the private sector are taking to try to close the loop and not produce waste. And biomimetic, which is, this is amazing. I was talking about nature before. It's important to just look into nature and understand how amazing it is. This is a water drop, and it mimics actually the way nature just contains fluids. They use membranes. We have membranes in our body, for instance, to contain lipids, so lipomembranes. So they are just mimicking that, and you can eat the drop, and it's edible, and you have water in it. So it's a way to avoid plastic. And then collaboration, obviously. I think that we need to look into more collaborative ways of living our lives. We can achieve much more. We can become more happy as well. And we can give back to the community. So, yeah, thank you very much for your attention.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Rashmi, and I'm going to be, thank you Edurne, because she has actually set the tone, and she has made us aware of the effect that today we are facing and we will be facing on our lives and our environment. And I can only speak from my own life, and I can only give analogy from my own life. So the childhood that I had, I recollect, as a child, it was a very different lifestyle that we used to lead. We were never poor. We were very, not rich in terms of materialistic richness or poor in terms of materialistic poverty, but we were good. We had a good life, our parents were good, lots of food to eat, good education. So it was a good life. But it was a very different lifestyle that we used to live. And I'll give you examples about the kind of lifestyle that I have lived as a child. So I have, my father had 4 brothers, and I was the second in the line of my cousins. So I had one elder cousin, So we all had the similar kind of education system. So the books, so she would go to school and then her books would be passed over to me because we had the same books. After me, when I went to the next grade, my books would pass on to my younger cousin, and then those same books. So we would take care in keep maintaining those books. We would keep them nicely, we would take care of those books, we would see to it that even if we had to do any markings on those books, they would be with pencils so it can be erased. We would cover our books so very well. And the one set of books, the school books, every grade would be passed on maybe for 4-5 children. And it would not be tattered and after that those books would be then given away to some other kids outside the family who would need them. The same would go with our clothes because we were all very thin, girls and boys. So we never looked at it as hands-me-down. We never looked at it as, oh, are we poor cousins or are they rich cousins? It was never like that. It was, yes, why do you, something which is there, which is nice, the t-shirt is nice, the pant, the trousers are good quality, and clothes don't tear, they really, if you look after them well, take care of them, they can stay on, and the colors don't fade. So it would be passed on, and we would use them, and we would happily use them. How we would meet in our villages is that my granny and all the aunts and all the community women, if they wanted to make pickles, they would all gather together and they would decide each family how many kilos of pickles was required. So the raw material would be bought in wholesale. The oil, the mangoes or the sesame seeds for seasoning, everything would be collectively bought and would be made, homemade, handmade, collectively. So what would this ensure? This ensured first community interaction. Of course, it was fun. When we did our papads and all, my granny, I remember we children, we would run to make those small papadams, which we used to call in my language as hapri. So we would help them to make those, and then we would run to dry those fully made papadams in the sun. So what would this ensure? This ensured very beautiful bonding between our community, very beautiful interactions, and plus it would ensure less of wastage. There was hardly any waste because it was collectively done. It was a community done activity. So what I have seen growing up is that sustainability was a way of life with us. With me, with my family, sustainability, it was never a topic which was outside us. It was never something which was to be learned now. But now the society has changed. We are living in a different times.
It used to be dignity of labor.
Dignity of labor also, and the way we are, the way our life was. It was a part of us. We would see, if I had to travel from my home to this railway station, we would walk. It didn't even occur to us that, oh, I need to catch an auto rickshaw. It was not about the money part, but it is walkable. So why take an auto rickshaw when it is a walkable distance? 10 minutes, 15 minutes, we could easily walk. So the question of taking an auto rickshaw would never even come to us. So sustainability, we grew up with. It was never outside us. It was the way we lived life. It was the way we, interacted with each other. But today, when I see my daughters, I have 2 daughters, it's a very different life for them. Why? Because the society has changed. If I tell them that your cousin has sent you these dresses and they are such beautiful dresses, so why don't you wear them? I don't want to wear it. And it's just that shrug of shoulders, my daughter will refuse to even consider, even look at it. Why? Because it's a different life today. So now the need is there to teach them what is sustainability. So something which was a part of me and my growth and my development has today gone outside me, where I have to take an effort to tell my daughters that this is what living should be. This is what living ought to be. But then that is the requirement. And for me, anything and everything starts at home. I absolutely agree with Edurne when she has given these statistics about water footprint and food, agriculture footprint. I mean, these are serious issues. But we can, at one level, at the government policy levels and at the NGO level, we can bring about these changes. Yes, from top to bottom. But most effective changes, I feel, happen bottom to top. And that bottom to top can only happen with us as mothers, as parents, as teachers, with our children. They are the best people to impart education to. So that is what I feel is the need for today's 21st century, that we impart sustainable living as a way of living to our children, because they are the future generation. We have already inherited this earth and we are living it, but we are going to pass it on to our next generation, and the best way is to imbibe it in our day-to-day living. So again, going back to, can we have community interactions? Can we have community activities? Can we start community activities where few women, few families come together and celebrate something? So these are the questions that I would put up to you, and I urge you to mull over these questions, think over these questions, because for each one of us, it's different what sustainability means at a personal level. Because top-bottom, those are policy issues which need to be done. But bottom-up is all very personalized. What it means to me and what it means to you, sustainability and living a sustainable lifestyle is going to be absolutely different. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to put my thoughts forward. Thank you.
My topic is gender equality. If you mostly focus on the environmental issues, please you continue.
No, I do on gender equality.
Okay.
Largely, yes.
Okay.
I'm more of the environmental, so I'll finish up with it. I won't take much longer, otherwise I think it's going to, yeah.
So, hello, this is the session after lunch, but yeah, won't be too long. So I'm Sukhija and I run a startup called Arzu Naturals. We work with small-scale farmers, so very much connected to village and women, and really like women farmers who actually don't have too much of an existence when you come to stats, but we always talk about farmers in general, but they don't actually come into that place. So what we try also to do is that we connect the farmers to the urban consumers directly. And of course, like there's a lot of people doing the same thing, but I'm going to connect that to sustainable development. So can anybody actually tell me, what does sustainable development mean? Can anybody tell me, like, what is it? And why is it such a buzzword? And is it a jargon? And I know that Edurne knows, and I know you know, but anybody in the audience? Yeah.
The ability of the present generation.
Exactly. So essentially, there was a Brundtland Commission in 1987, and then we had a lot of environmental movements. And I stress the word movements because we are a women's movement who's present at the Women's Economic Forum here, and which actually came together and coined that word, which means that you are going to really conserve the resources of today to actually leave a future generation which can inherit a better planet. Now this is again, it's a jargon word. The definition doesn't really mean anything. But just think about it, yeah? If you actually look at your lives, the word sustainable is actually how do you continue your life in a more ethical, sustainable, environmental way to actually leave a lesser footprint on the planet. For example, when you walk, what is your footprint on the planet, right? So first we talked about water footprint, your food footprint, etc. But when you talk about your food footprint, do you know what your farmer is, your family farmer is? Do you know what your family doctor is? But do you actually know your family farmer? We go to the supermarkets, we buy water, everything is taken for granted. We have milk, we have food grains, we have everything, right? We are of course wasting food, etc. But we don't know where it comes from. Be it any product, your dupatta, your clothes, your, anything on your table, everything, right? We don't know where it comes from, and the time has come because we need to start questioning. we need to become very, very conscious about what comes and what goes where. Because we can't afford that anymore. There's a lot of, so when we go into climate change, and I know everybody knows about it, and many people don't know about it, but I want to talk about science a little bit, just given my background as well. So climate change is a reality now, but the whole point is that we have reached a threshold, right? And the erratic weather patterns have started. So when we work with our farmers on the ground, many a times the farmer has so many crop destructions. So getting that one tomato on your table is a lot of blood and sweat. And I want all of you all to be aware of that. One of my farmers, right, we work with in Nasik. It's a 75-year-old grandmother, and a couple of them. Sometimes, before they actually converted to organic farming and natural farming, their tomato harvests were completely destroyed. Because they were using genetically modified seeds, hybrid seeds, and then they used to put chemicals and pesticides to avoid it, but then whatever the insects, etc., which used to come, they used to become immune to that. And then something happened which was really terrible. We had a white fungus which started entering the tomatoes and making it hollow. So the farmer, he's the inheritor of earth, right? He's expected to put a huge investment, He has to buy the seed from the multinational company because he's not allowed to actually invest on his own seed because the natural seeds have completely died out. And in the first plenary session, we actually gave an award to Dr. Swaminathan, which, yes, he has done a lot of work, but I'm saying that the farmer, he doesn't have a right to the indigenous seed. Then we're giving them chemicals and pesticides. The third thing is that he has to hire labor. The labor cost is very expensive these days. One day is 300 rupees, right? Sometimes we know farmers who can't even afford labor to actually get the tomatoes out of the field, right? And then you have the middlemen who actually take the tomatoes and take it to the city. And then we have urban consumers who bargain. They bargain because they don't actually understand the reality of growing food. But that's the reality. The food you eat, the clothes you wear, everything, right? Just imagine if it was handmade. If something which you grew locally in your terrace, just imagine for a minute, you started growing food, how would it be, right? So we have to look, we have to get into that lifestyle shift, which is grow your own food, understand where to source locally, everything. And also one more thing, start supporting startups like us. We are the future because we have brands which are local, right? All those young women entrepreneurs who have these amazing fashion design, like all those people around here, we have to promote local designs, local brands, the small scale ones. So this is just a start of sustainable development. There's a lot of it. You can get into climate politics, you can get into sustainability, supply chains, a lot of that. But you have to walk the talk is what I'm saying. Starting from your laptop covers, from the e-waste to your mobile phone to everything. And yeah, that's where I end. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Very beautiful thoughts. I was sitting there and I was thinking that I read somewhere about the Ubuntu philosophy. I am because you are. I think this is what we are trying to hit at, that my survival depends so much on yours. But as I have just told, I have been working on gender-related issues, so I'll give a little bit of a shift to what we are talking about, because largely we've been talking about the natural resources and how we need to conserve so that we can continue living, because our life itself is at stake if we do not move into the mode of sustainability. But then I would just like to talk about a business or a workplace where there is no gender equality. How can that be sustainable? That would be something which you would also be thinking about. There cannot be sustainability in a business where there is no gender balance. And gender balance will need a few steps behind. Now, I'm basically a police officer. I'm from the IPS, Indian Police Service. And I've been working on women-related issues, child-related issues, and human trafficking-related issues. So now when I look at a workplace, the first thing that comes to my mind is the safety and security of the woman who's working there. Are we making our workplaces safe for a woman to step out of the house and start working? This is a question which still has not caught on the imagination of many workplaces. There is a law in place in India, sexual harassment at workplace, a very, very safe place. But then as the economies develop and as we start talking of equity and equality, then we also need to talk about inclusiveness. And when we talk about inclusiveness, we must look at the balance in the workforce. When you see that, we find that the workforce is heavily disbalanced. I'm from the police department, but let me tell you, and it is supposed to be, I come from UP. Now it is supposed to have one of the largest police forces in the world, but it is the most gender disbalanced workforce. You only have 6 to 7% women in every rank, including the IPS. So you see, for anything to be sustainable, and then if you link it to the SDG number 5, there's a direct connection. When you go a bit further and you read up the McKinsey report, you find that the world could add up to the GDP by, say, I think 28 or 39% if there is gender balance at the workforce. So this is what we are losing out on. So I just had a small, proposition that we also need to look at sustainability from the natural resource part, but also from the human resource part. Are the workforces balanced? Are we working in collaboration? How can we always think of competing? We need to collaborate, we need to cooperate with each other. So these are the things we also need to look at. I won't take much of your time now. I think I'll stop because I also have another session. But then this is something which we need to look at in a new way. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everybody. Although we have no mentoring during the panel, all the panel sessions are very complementary each other. Because I saw the sustainable development goal needs of the 21st century, directly I remember the environmental, economic and social aspects of the sustainable development. From the feminist perspective, we have to remind that there is a dual rationale for gender equality and sustainable development. Because, first of all, the equality between women and the men is this issue of social justice and also human rights. And secondly, equality between women and men is also a precondition for the sustainable development. So, when we think about that women make up half of the world's population, they have never benefited from the development of social rights and economics with the men. They continue to be overpressed among the world's most vulnerable group, although there are many things happened in the last decade. For instance, I would like to give some results of the field surveys. For example, the same opportunities regarding to required agricultural raw materials and vehicles are given to the women farmers in Kenya as men farmers. The amount of agricultural products could increase by more than 20% in a year. Another dramatic example is from Tanzania. If reducing time that required for to spend household cares, women coffee and banana growers increase household cash incomes by 10%, labor productivity by 15%, and capital productivity by 44%. However, we have to accept that women empowerment is a key process in reaching gender equality, and it is the precondition for the sustainable development. On the other hand, Sustainable Development Goal 8 has been designed to promote sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work in the framework of Sustainable Development Goal 8. Target 8.3 directly aims to support productive activities, decent job creation, entrepreneurship, creativity, and innovation, and encourage the formalization and growth of micro, small, and medium enterprises, including broad access to financial services. In developing countries, the primary barrier to economic growth is often not to so much scarcity of capital, labor, or land. It is a scarcity of both dynamic entrepreneurs that can bring together the markets and mechanisms that can facilitate them in this task. Women entrepreneurs have greater constraints on their economic actions relative to men. There is a significant gender gap in the entrepreneurial activity rate across the world. A GAM study of 18 countries from 2002 to 2010 suggests that women's entrepreneurial activity is lower than of their male counterparts at different stages of the development. But in general, entrepreneurial gap between women and men decreases with the economic development level. In other words, as the economies move from factor driving stage to efficient driving stage and to innovation driving stage, the gap between men and women entrepreneurs decreases 5.2% to 4 points and 3 points for respectively. Women own only 1% of the world's wealth, earn only 10% share of global income, own a mere 1% of the world's land, occupy just 14% of the leadership position, and women-owned business are said to comprise between 1/4 or 1/3 of all businesses. Although they produce between 1/4, they produce 15% of the world's food. Moreover, a study that looked at 34 countries in developed and developing economies in Europe and Asia found that female-owned firms had fewer employees overall the male-owned firms were about 1.5 years younger than operated in the service sector. A major reason of this situation is the lack of access to finance for the women entrepreneurs. Globally, women-owned businesses only access between 2 to 10% of commercial bank finance. This holds true in emerging markets where women-owned markets represent 31 to 38% of the small and medium enterprises. For this, only 20% of women-owned firms had over more than $100,000 annual revenue, compared to 33% of men-owned firms. Moreover, firms run by women are usually smaller than those operated by men in terms of number of employees, asset value, annual turnover, besides being less profitable and productive, probably due to another constraints such as difficulties obtaining financing. In order to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure prosperity for all as part of new sustainable development agenda, there is a need of multi-stakeholder partnership as stated Sustainable Development Goal 17. I would like to call women's rights group, political parties, trade unions, and civil society groups once more for strengthening the situation of the women in the economy in the form of employment or entrepreneurship through advocating policies, designing interventions, and implementing programs. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And as you called for a woman entrepreneur and entrepreneurship, I'm here. I'm a woman entrepreneur myself, director of GPA Group. We have about 7 companies, 7 ventures under our kitty. We have 3 online ventures. We have tea gardens, construction firms. We have retail chains now in Delhi. So it is great to have insights on sustainability and gender equality here. I was asked to speak on the topic of 6 steps how to grow your business. And what I realized from the talks here is that being an entrepreneur, entrepreneurship in sustainability, and it's important to know how to maintain what you build, right? So, how many here have watched Kung Fu Panda? The movie Kung Fu Panda? All of us? Yeah? So, anybody remembers any particular dialogue from the movie?
Inner peace.
Inner peace. Nice. Anybody else? So something that all we need is inner peace. But something what I was thinking about is what he was told, the panda was told in the end, that there is no secret ingredient. Right? The secret ingredient is you. So there is no formal steps that I can explain to you to grow your business. There is no secret formula. Okay? The first thing is, if you do anything and you want to build anything, it's just to believe in yourself. If you believe in yourself, then you will have the courage to face the consequences as well. Right? Which is very important. Second thing is, because business is not as easy as making instant noodles. We all like Maggi in India. It's a favorite brand. But growing a business or making an idea into reality needs a lot of patience. You cannot expect instant results like we do currently. I'm sure if we are talking about sustainable environment and about footprints, it's not happened in a day that we have reached this stage where we need to create so much of awareness about it and talk so much about it and take steps about it. So keeping patience is the second key. Right? When you start your own business, the first thing is embrace risk. Right? It's not that you will succeed every time. You have to be very, very flexible. You need to understand that there are decisions, there are changes, and some changes out of your control as well. So learn to embrace risk. Have that courage if you want to create a difference. Right? Now, how will you sail through all of this? How will you sail through if you say, okay, I can't take risk, but how will you get the courage? Always build a strong team. Always have a strong advisory panel for yourself. Right? Their experience counts. If you feel it's my idea, I know it all, it doesn't work that way. something that we spoke about was collaboration. It works here as well. If I try to build everything from scratch, it doesn't work like that. I will spend months and years, and my competitors will collaborate with one of the others, create a small plugin, and move ahead. Right? So if I talk about my venture, say comparemunafa.com, which we compare prices across various online stores, or say teaflow.com, where we sell exotic teas. If I try to sit and infuse my teas, it'll take me a while. But if I go to the market, take help of the testers, it's easier for me. Right? If I try to build the entire technology for Compare Munafa myself, it'll take me a while. But if I go and ask who can offer me a better service, and I can provide an additional feature to my consumers, it'll be quicker, less in cost, and sustainable as well for me. So these are the few steps that, these are the few ideas that I had about how to grow a business. Of course, you cannot run away from hard work. Right? That is one thing that needs to be a constant in any idea or any thought or any business. Even if you want to create a movement, or even if you want to save the earth, I think hard work, commitment, patience is the key. So I would like to end at that. Thank you.
We have five minutes.
We still have time. So anybody wants to say?
Or you could just conclude maybe, and then we can. Would you like to conclude? Would you like to say something?
Yeah, I guess that all six of us, we have given some different messages but converging into the same funnel. That sustainability is, yes, awareness, generating awareness towards us, towards our lifestyles, towards where the farmer comes from, what he grows, understanding the patterns of food agriculture, and that's the way ahead to saving our planet, saving our environment for a better future. So that's it.
I would like to say something. Just one thing after the sustainability. I've been observing for the last 2 days, every table has got some half-filled bottles. I think people are leaving their bottles. Yeah. So let's begin with at least this, when she's mentioned that this is 1.5 liter of this and this is half, so 2 liters in this, right? So I guess we should carry our bottles along with us, whatever we have left half.
Or maybe just use glasses.
Exactly. Whatever suits, to each. Like we can begin with that. At least the women, those who are present here.
Thank you.
Let's commit to that, right?
How many are the entrepreneurs? How many are the entrepreneurs? Do you have any connection with the human networks? At not on the national level, regional or international level. Do you have any connection with the women entrepreneurs? I know.
Yeah, just let him click the picture. He needs a good photograph.
Works of the We Connect International. We have to discuss if you have a time, okay? Because I have no idea about the specific issue of the workshop, so I didn't prepare about the connections. If you want, please
Can everybody?
I would like to explain you the human networks in order to expand your networks. International Trade Organization, it is very important, and We Connect International. Also, are one of the members from Australia, Carol and Maria, are the experts on this issue. Please contact with us, okay? And also, I would like to share my email. How I share, I don't know. The email address. If you want to get the information about human organizations and human networks for the entrepreneurs, please send an email to me. My email is very difficult, so I want to write
Excuse me. Side, please.
Yes.
Photo
I don't know. We are three in this room from BPW International Business and Professional Women.
Can all the speakers please come forward for a photograph? Yeah, please come for the picture.
Yes, I have many cards, so no problem.
Okay, everybody, can you please come for a Nain, come. One photograph. Come. Please come.
Okay. Okay. Agent.
Actually, I would also please, I would love to. I know so many photos, right? Thank you so much.
Sitting down.
Excuse me, wait.
Everybody look at the camera, smile.
Wait.
Okay.
Wait.
हो गया?
WhatsApp to each other.
Yeah.
Sustainability of photographs. 9 liters of water. Yeah.
That's an interesting cover.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I will never forget this.
I'm still a fellow Mumbaikar.
Yeah. I'm still a Bombay girl.
Ah, lovely.
Okay. I had my talks yesterday, but I really we don't know what we are, what we're doing. Because you know what they've done is they put together. No. What? I just love. Died.
My love for photograph was taking me.
It's very natural. Very.
startup.
Yeah, because last time, there's a panel session on branding, right? Why don't you just leave the session? So,
Promotion.
So what I my journey has been from making fiction, like what no, mostly I have and then from there I moved on to stuff for passionate. And then from
but there will be a new one for sure. This was about
because I just
6, 7, 9 years.
And it's just the same.
But I don't know because they moved all the set sites. So this program is working in your pockets. Just a difference. Yeah. They should be good anyway.
You have a website.
Yeah. I don't know where I'm looking for now. I was looking for this and now
I wrote a book for next, and then I had a life-changing accident.
At 4:45.
That I'm doing is like.
So I have.
You know, this is what I discussed.
A break.
I was giving a talk on the chaos and stuff. And you can only see light. There is no other way.
Sorry?
Because speaking on what?
I was speaking on
there is no other way.
that a car, lifestyle, everything just went away.
Yeah, and then you share. Share with the and actually transaction.
Why do you say?
Because it's not all the first actually making foreign language really good. They think they use the same language, but they speak. They are distracting in their head. So there are many misunderstandings, and this is so wrong. You don't all talk the same. So that was I was speaking about that. Yesterday.
So they should be only last couple of years. I was compassionate, but as a complete effort, and actively being compassionate thanks to my sweet job.
Could you explain to me what you mean by that? Or
Because
do I understand correctly that you mean this?
Suppose I'm speaking something to you and I spoke very fast.
Yeah.
Right? And you didn't understand.
Hello.
Of course, I should have known.
Because they changed like it.
And that's one complicated connection.
So what kind of difference really got involved?
Yeah, so
are you out of Delhi now?
Yes, so I have been moved on from one to take care of my Asian parents, and now they're passed on. But so it's time for me to be Delhi as well because I came here for a purpose. And now, what happened with each filmmaking, each film actually transformed me because it was a spiritual film or a panel on the journey or whatever. So it was also a huge catalyst for making me who I am. You know, so what I now do is I offer teachings and kind of counsel people. I'm an experienced leader, not trained, not certified, nothing, just an experienced leader to try and show people a different perspective.
So what I was speaking if I speak very fast, yes, you may understand something else.
Exactly.
And I may see something else. So with this, the whole confusion will be there. And what was she speaking? Was she speaking that? What I am thinking?
Thing is that we are using English from the language and we think that you just want to use since you have an idea about certain things that are not better to do not communicate that so if we are using business in one country, we mean something, in another country, we mean something different. How? Yeah, if we go to England and America, it's very, there is 40% of your table, you know. In America, it means don't have that as a subject anymore. You just don't name it. It's exactly the same. It means now we're going to do it. So if you don't say, okay, it might mean something else in a different country, let me check. We don't check anymore. We just, whatever is said to us, we think that it means what we think it means. And we are not checking whether when the other one says it, what we understand. And it can lead to huge problems. We had a case, especially in translating, we had a case in the Netherlands where our Supreme Court had to decide on a term up until whether it was including that day or it was without that. And it's we had the difference of millions in the outcome. And the Supreme Court did it wrong because they were not asking somebody from, let's say, it's translated, what does it, in general, what do they mean by is it including the day or excluding the day? So they said, we have to know. So we will decide. And we decided currency and volume behavior has made you think nothing, right? And the difference was millions. So these things, I learned everything. I have so interlinked and there is practice but I will see you around. Okay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
How every second person
depends. I mean, I think somebody I just met like sometime last week, some people, and they said that so your country starts, you are so blessed that you've been born in such family, and good things like that. So your thinking has to be like that. Since the time you were born, that has to be from because you were born and already we still be grateful. So my mom, she used to teach Gita chanting. She used to be working in Chennai Mission. She worked for 30 years. Purvi Banerjee. So Purvi Banerjee, and she was like quite a celebrated music teacher there. And she always taught me Gita as part of mantra and all of that. Yeah, just because I started questioning her, and then I found a simplified version of that in Buddhism. And then back to Gita. So it's been
because there's nobody here.
Ma'am, I'll send somebody.
Take it.
Hi. All the best. I'll let you be. I'm sure we'll have some preparation.
Okay, all right. We should stay in touch. We must. Yeah, I'll put you on to. I'll send you email, and then
we must. All the best for your session.
Thank you.
Hi. I saw you yesterday. I wanted to stop by, and then I couldn't.
Jewelry sector. What is it?
Yeah, couldn't understand. So I'm going to basically make it more interactive and something. So, then it's up to me, I'll make it more interactive and fun. Instead of taking it serious because logo and change, so that is what I asked her just to now. We teach children more with the fun. Fun, yeah. Maths, science and social studies.
Let 4 or 5 people come.
I'll show you.
Because you're a single one, you can even take half an hour.
Different
Half an hour.
artifacts. Okay. For example, this one. So
what's your name?
What like
Mahima.
If you want to show you're from Delhi.
Which color?
No. Color. You want to teach maths from this.
And where are you
from? So this is one. This is. I just see very much. This is 8. Yeah.
Okay. Something is happening.
Yes. Okay. And this is 4. suppose that 10 students with me. So I will just say yeah, and then I will tell them you can please make the biggest number and the smallest number. Yeah, with the combination of these numbers.
Yeah, not numbers and colors. So they will identify first color and then number.
No. Only the